honestly, this is just something else. Everything about this game is brilliant. And if you're a Resident Evil fan, you're in for a treat because this is Resident Evil turned up to 11. It takes everything good about the previous games and it raises the bar higher, and it uses all the best elements from the series and it mixes it all together to create something truly special. And this feels like a celebration and victory tour for the franchise, and one that is well deserved. Firstly, during this video, I'm going to try my best to keep it as spoiler light as possible, and I'm not going to be mentioning any important story points as everybody should be able to experience this for themselves. However, there may be some locations shown on screen that some players may want to experience for themselves for the first time. But I'm going to try my best and keep them as light on any spoilers as I can. But I just wanted to put that out there, and I may reuse some footage because I don't want to show too much gameplay and spoil some of the fantastic surprises players have in store for them. So having said all that, let's get into it. There are some games that take a while to get going and some that hook you from the moment you press play. And this is the latter. And honestly, during the first hour of the game, I was just sat in awe. I was so invested and I was stunned at what I was playing, because you feel like you're thrown straight back into Biohazard and Village. And the game, it creates an amazing atmosphere, from the sound design and the lighting to the way Grace reacts to her environment. And I was genuinely so excited from what I was playing. That excitement, it only grew when you get your first look back at Leon. And the way the game interweaves both characters throughout the story, it is so well done. And it gives the game great pacing because they switch at just the perfect times. And it's like you're getting two separate Resident Evil games. You've got the first person intense and slow burn gameplay introduced in Biohazard and Village, and you've got the fast paced action heavy approach from Resident Evil 4, and both here are better than they have ever been. And when you switch to Leon for the first time, it's like you're stepping straight back to Resident Evil 4 gameplay, but with so many improvements and slight adjustments that elevate the experience. It has never been more fun to blow enemies apart with a shotgun, or give them one of his signature roundhouses, sending them fucking spinning backwards. And the finishing moves even change depending on which way you're facing the enemy and what's around your environment. And it feels so fast and fluid, and you feel like a true one-man army. And it's a great feeling after switching back from Grace, where every enemy feels daunting and you have to pick your battles wisely. Just look at this first section as him. Look how cool this is. It's like Resident Evil 4 on steroids. And it feels so much fucking fun to play. And he's back with more one-liners than ever, some of which are hilarious, but I can let you experience those for yourselves. So when I was talking about all the best elements from previous games, one of those I meant specifically was the care center, because this is the police station from Resident Evil 2, only bigger, better and more exciting to explore. So for that reason, I'm not going to be showing any clips from there, because even though it's early in the game, it is absolutely one of the best parts of the game, and I don't want to spoil anything that happens there, because some of the enemies and how they react to you, it's so cool and engrossing to play, because these aren't the standard enemies from previous games. There's so much more variety here, and a lot of them still have remnants of their personality, which makes them behave certain ways, and it's a great innovation from the developers. To add that, and it creates a new level to the atmosphere and tension the game is creating, and the whole section is excellent, and it keeps you so engaged. Granted, it did take me longer than it should have to complete, not because I was playing on the hardest difficulty at launch, which I was, but because I was being an idiot and I wasn't linking some of the puzzles together as quickly as I usually would. And I put that down to the tension the game creates, because there was times where I just ran from enemies because I didn't have the resources or the courage to fight them at that moment. And I didn't grab or find part of the puzzle. So when I did eventually get out, it was a feeling of relief because it was a slog, but in the best way. It's not like an open world game where you're doing a simple fetch quest or traveling and you zone out and go through the motions. Like, there's none of that here because of the atmosphere and the environment. It has your full focus. And that's why the shorter runtime of the game and previous games, they don't actually bother me as much because they feel much longer than they are. And that's due to the effort it takes to play them, because they are not relaxing or chilled. Like, they're tense games, and especially this one. And I'm a big fan of this type of game, and this is close to the best. Like, it really is. But the length, I'd say it's comparable to Resident Evil 2 or some of the later titles, just not as long as Resident Evil 4, because that was just a longer game. So yeah, some people might not be happy with the length, but it's par for the course here. And like I said, to me anyway, it feels longer than it is. And what you are getting is excellent. But one negative I would have to say is I don't feel like the boss fights are as good as some of the previous games. Some of the arenas and enemy moves are simplistic, but I suppose it's not why you buy these games anyway. But the story itself, while not remarkable or groundbreaking, it is a decent Resident Evil story, although quite predictable, because I did work out one of the plot twists, as I'm sure many others would have, but it's good enough for everything else that's being offered here, and it doesn't bring down the experience. While playing the game, I didn't run into any bugs or glitches or anything that shouldn't be there, and the performance was great and well optimized, and graphically, as usual with Resident Evil titles, it's superb. Obviously, the RE engine, it shines here, which is what happens when it's used on Resident Evil titles. There's just a lot to love here, and the antagonist is one of the best the series has seen, because he is just engrossing to watch, and you do feel the need to understand why he is doing what he is doing. Although I don't feel like the reasons behind his actions when revealed are as surprising or well done as they could have been, but still a great character and great villain of the game. So, as you can tell by all this, I had a great time playing the game and totally enjoyed everything about it, and the small number of weaker points the game has doesn't detract from the experience at all, because this is a great Resident Evil game, and if you're a long-time fan of the series, it feels like a thank you for playing. Because it is not revolutionary or extremely innovative, and it is a big concoction of all the previous games, but that's what makes it as good as it is, and the developers clearly understand the series and know what works and what doesn't, and this is just everything that works but done better, and that is enough to make a great Resident Evil game. Not every title has to try something new. Sometimes it's enough to stick to what you know and improve it, and they have more than achieved that here. This is a great experience, and every player who is a fan not only of the series but of this type of game should absolutely go out and buy it, because there's not many that can accomplish this, and it is a game that should be experienced.